well, or do you feel like they were kind of not playing so well, you were playing well? Like, how did you feel about both of you guys?
I guess Navi didn't have their best level, honestly, and we still have lot of runs we lost like we shouldn't have, you know. And for example, for me, train, if we don't lose stupid run, like we could end this way before, like maybe 16-9 or something like this. Dust 2 was one-sided anyway, and Kerbal is pretty. It was more hard, but still, I think we could end it more easy because it's always like when we lose a round, you know. Of course, there are some rounds like they did well, and yeah, good game from them. But a lot of rounds we lost is because mistake from us. We never win a pistol run. When we win one, we lost the eco. We are always like money fucked every side, every game. So it's really hard when you just start a game with being like 5 or 6-0 for the opponent, and you have to come back from there. And even if you put a run, if you don't put like 2 or 3 straight, you won't have the money, and you will be echoed for like 2 runs more. So yeah, a lot of runs like we lose that. I think in the gun runs, we have really like good things, but we really have to work on the pistol runs and this kind of tight run, you know, like crunch run, 2-on-2, 2-on-3, like we lost, for example, the 4-4 V2. And if we win this kind of runs, like we should have won more easy, I guess. But yeah, we definitely have to work on it.
You'll take the win, right? Yeah, so I guess the last thing I want to say after just congratulating you for winning is, who do you feel is your toughest opponent now that you have knocked out Navi in this tournament? Who you planning for beating next? Obviously, you're going to take it to your next match, but who do you think is the strongest team here so far?
Honestly, I don't know because I didn't look the other match, and I don't really care about it because I just want our team to perform well, you know, and it can be against every opponent. I just don't want any regrets or don't lose stupid runs because of mistake we should not do. I totally admit the fact, like if we lose because the opponent is better, that's totally normal. But don't lose because you played bad. You know, like I hate it.
Well, absolutely. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for the interview. All right, that's Titan Shocks. Congratulating almost 2-1 victory over Navi, and good luck with the rest of the tournament, man.
Welcome back, folks. Here we are. We're about to start match 2 here at the CEVO Season 8 Pro League LAN Finals here in lovely Columbus, Ohio, in the gorgeous MLG Arena. Gentlemen, I'm Sir Scoots, as you know. Thorin is with me. Richard Lewis is with me. Richard Lewis is with me.
Quaaludes is with
All
me.
the people.
Blah, 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 blah.
Quaaludes, I got some
Throwback
Quaaludes
to
with
the
me.
Quaaludes are with me.
Yeah, I got some.
That's what got Scott through the 70s.
I'm
Quaaludes.
Tiny Scoots. Leave me alone. I'm Tiny Scoots. All right, let's get into it. Group
Correct,
A.
of course.
Yeah, of course. Group A, this time winner match of Group A, so no one's going home quite yet. Both sitting there pretty. Got one loss to give away, but Dignitas meeting the defending champions, Virtus.Pro.
Go on, Duncan, you go first, because it's about Poland.
I mean, the thing is, you look at the Dignitas team, they were a surprise to upset yesterday. They've gotten this far. Going against VP, the teams that were in the final of this tournament last time were the favourites to get back there again this time. Na'Vi, great form. VP, an excellent team. It takes a great performance to beat them usually. You'd expect both of them to be favourites for the tournament. Now that Na'Vi's out, VP in many ways, this is their tournament to lose. If they don't win this tournament, and that should start with winning this match over a Dignitas that hasn't looked good, then people are going to be asking questions about them. What happened to their form? What happened to the team that was beating TSM, that was beating Fnatic, that was looking so strong? They shouldn't be losing to teams of the caliber of Dignitas. Not least because you remember how Dignitas got the upset win over Liquid. They had like that weird train pick that was in their back pocket. There is no map Virtus.Pro can't play, and they have all the customs in their back pocket. So I feel like everything's set for VP to have a very good win over the Dignitas now. So it's going to take some either epic failure from VP, which I haven't seen recently, or something incredible from Dignitas. So it'll certainly be interesting in that context.
And that was the point I was going to make. Like, Dignitas beat Team Liquid predicated on the fact that they had this weird train pick, and it was like, it's not a map we're super strong on, but we know you're not strong on it as well. So they threw that Hail Mary pass and it landed. Now, if they think Train's going to dig them out of a hole against Virtus.Pro, they're just going to get absolutely run over. So they can't do that this time. Now they've got to try and veto more intelligently, and it's like I said yesterday, trying to find a veto that works for this Dignitas team against a team that's as well practiced and has such a deep map pool as Virtus.Pro. I don't think there's a combination they can get in any veto scenario where it plays to their in their favor. So things are looking really bad. On top of that, Virtus.Pro, look, that G2 esports thing, it's a bit of an anomaly if we're honest about it. You know, like there was loads of clutch moments and everything in that, and maybe that isn't going to happen. Virtus.Pro were feeling pretty bad about how they did it at major, so they're going to come out and want to make a statement of intent here, especially with Na'Vi going home. They're the #1 seed now. They've got to be the guys that have to win this.
So, some notes though. Obviously, like you said, Virtus.Pro's basically tournament to win if they keep winning.
Certainly,
but
no,
if
yeah.
Dignitas beats them, would they then, in your mind, become the favorites, or are you still looking towards a Mouse Sports Titan?
I will say, if Dignitas can beat Virtus.Pro in a best-of-3, it's definitely not impossible they can win the tournament, because to me, VP's an incredible team with a really deep map pool. So if you can get a best-of-3 win over them, you're going to be legit to some degree. The thing is, there's still other teams in this tournament. I mean, we still do have Luminosity's pretty decent, Mouse looking resurgent. Yeah. I have to say, Dignitas wouldn't match up that poorly against some of those teams. So maybe if they do beat Virtus.Pro, they have a chance, because they'll be in a semi-final, playing #2 from the other group. There's certainly some interesting matchups. That could obviously be Titan, I think, is over in the other one.
Yep.
So there's an interesting matchup you'd probably favour Dignitas to have. So they could end up in the final if they can win this one, though. And this one's the big one for me, because if they don't win this, it's going to be hard to go much further. And VP is a very strong team. They are the team to beat for me.
And go ahead and walk us through the roster, if you will, Duncan.
Okay, so on the left, we've got Pasha, the fan favorite lineup, famously known actually as an AWPer, great medium-range AWPer, but he's given up that role recently. He's just become more of a rifler. He always had very good rifles for an AWPer, and he had the monster performance yesterday in the match against Conquest. That really won that Inferno game for them. Second from left is Bialy, and he's the entry fragger. He's a very aggressive AK player. In many ways, he's usually, for me, the thermometer for the team. I can tell if he's going well, that the whole team's hot and everything's going to go great. If he's not doing so well, it's going to be a really hard carry performance from Snacks, maybe Pasha, that can get them through. Man in the middle, Neo, probably the best 1.6 player ever. In CSGO, certainly not at that stature, doesn't even play that kind of role. Has recently become kind of a utility AWPer, but he's actually been getting decent performances. He has had some letdown tournaments, but not too bad, especially because it has kind of put Pasha in a better role. Then to his right, his kind of partner in crime. They've played together since 2004. In fact, it might even be 2003. A long, long tenure together. Taz, known as, at times, one of the better players in the team back in 1.6. More of a supportive player now. and will just have occasional moments where he'll come out with like the veteran smarts, like the great 1v2 or a single map, particularly if they play Train. It's a specialist map for him. And then on the right is Snacks, the best player in the team, one of the best players in the whole world, very consistent player, a player who's just got famously brilliant intuition in game, good with most guns actually. In fact, he can actually AWP as well. People don't know that. He does it sometimes. He doesn't need to most of the time. He's a fantastic rifle player. So that's Virtus.Pro, one of the most dangerous attacking teams in the world and one with the deepest map pool.
And again, at this point, you would pick these guys to win, right?
Everything would point towards it. I mean, it's true, Conquest gave him a little bit of a challenge on that map. At the end of the day, VP still won the series, and they're a team that they haven't lost many best of threes to the lower ranked teams. I mean, one of the few that they did lose in recent memory was when they lost that one to a team, just a little known team called Kingwin, who obviously went on to become G2, actually then made it to the semis of this major. So you can see, usually if you beat them, it takes a really good performance in a best of 3.
And again, you bring up Conquest, just so you guys know, there are 2 streams, as we've mentioned several times today. Just go to MLG.tv, you'll see both streams fired up, Alpha and Bravo. On the Bravo stream, about to start the Battle of North America, if you will. Forget Luminosity, they're a little above that world, if you will. Liquid versus Conquest, loser will go home.
The way you can always tell which stream you're on is if you see me, that's obviously the Alpha stream. I mean, MLG knows their terminology now. You never see me on the non-Alpha stream.
Woof, woof.
So.
Right,
but no, that game obviously is a must-win for Team Liquid if they want to progress in this tournament.
All right, let's take a look at Dignitas. And this time, Richard, I'm going to have you walk us through the Dignitas roster.
Yeah, sure, by all means. So on the left, you can see we've got Pimp. This is somebody who it was very recently a star player in this lineup, was somebody that you could always rely on to lock a sight down. Incredible rifler, has real guts, determination, drive. Thorins wrote about him within that context. However, when they made the most recent roster changes, they tried to put him onto this kind of AWPing role. So he had to pick up the AWP because they felt they needed one. And he was basically the guy who said, okay, I'm going to do that. Didn't work initially, had a big performance yesterday though. So keep your eye on him. Tensky is the new kid on the block, the replacement for Schneider. He obviously formerly was with SK Gaming, where he was fragging very decently. I wouldn't say he was like the strongest player necessarily in that lineup, but he always posted particularly good numbers. I don't think he was the #1 pick for Schneider, but any port in a storm, right? So they brought him in. He's been doing okay. MSL in the middle, he's the in-game leader. Previously played, obviously, with Pimp way back in the Western Wolves lineup where he wasn't an in-game leader. Glaive was the in-game leader for that team. So this is something like he has been an in-game leader in the past. Bit of a strange player. Typically has pulled out some very good performances actually in terms of cobble and whatnot, but he's certainly not anyone you would rely on to sort of frag heavily for your team. A traditional in-game leader in that sense. Now we move on to sort of the young element of the team. Now you've got AZ, star player in this team without a shadow of a doubt. The strongest rifler, always posts good numbers, was heavily linked with TSM recently where he was maybe going to replace Zipnix. That move didn't happen. AZ stayed in Team Dignitas and since then has basically been in ELO hell. They haven't had a stable lineup. This is a guy who went to the major, did something like 60 frags in 2 maps. He's looking around, why y'all ain't help me, man? The rest of the team didn't show up to that major, but AZ did. So all eyes on him at this event. He's capable of actually dragging this team through a game like this, but he needs those major level performances. And then finally, this is the guy who has all the question marks about him, Kiebi. A phenomenal talent, somebody that's been in the team for a while, has been settled in, but historically goes missing in big matches. And people know this now in the professional scene, and they like to isolate and bully him. So on certain maps, his performance can be absolutely crucial. I would say especially on a map like Cash, where he's holding that squeaky door area, sometimes he just gets isolated, bullied, posts bad scores, and Dignitas lose the map. So there you go. They're the Danish dynamite that need to sort of beat Virtus.Pro here, which, by the way, I don't think will happen.
Okay. And before we get to true predictions, let's get your... You've already said, doesn't matter what, like Virtus.Pro was going to play them all, but thoughts on what maps are going to get dropped by Dignitas and picked, for that matter, by the teams?
It's very interesting because, as we saw yesterday with DeVito against Team Liquid, it doesn't look like Team Dignitas even know themselves what they want to do. They're trying to outthink their opponents rather than picking maps that they're strong on.
Put it this way, I don't even think they'll have the option to pick Train because that's one where if it's left up, VP might just straight pick that map.
Yeah.
Your VP, their traditional drop is Dust 2. Might still stick with that. The big concern for VP though is will Dignitas dare Cash? Because the one other map that VP don't really like is Cash at the moment, and that's one that if I'm Dignitas, that's what I might try and do, actually. I'm not going to pick Train. It's already going to be a death sentence if I do that. I might try and pick Cash, though. Again, just trying to pick a weird map. Maybe not even a pocket pick there, but just something that you know they got something weak about them on.
Yep.
Try and exploit that. The other one, I think you're kind of in a tough situation. I mean, luckily, if VP picks Train, you're not going to win it, but at least I guess you bedded in on that. You played it yesterday. You think you know what you're going to do. You have to believe you have a chance. You won't. They're incredible on Train. Third map, I mean, again, for VP, they can go anywhere on that. If it comes out as a cobble, they're fine playing that. Comes out as an overpass, they love overpass. It's hard to find maps for VP that are going to be bad.
I mean,
Mirage,
I think
obviously love to play.
Dignitas would hope the randometer would bring them up something like an Inferno, where we've seen Virtus.Pro being shaky. Dignitas have done it. Now, there's no doubt in my mind, Virtus.Pro will ban Dust 2. You're going to take that away. They don't like it anyway. They're going to take it away from a Danish team that, you know, they can play Dust 2. They've had good results in the past, sure, not with this lineup, but historically. So I think Dust 2, it's a given that is gone.
So we got a player matchup here, Thorn. Thoughts on Pimp versus Pasha?
I mean, just from yesterday, you'd say this should be a premier matchup. These are the two players who obviously can do a lot of work. They were doing very good work for the team yesterday. In more recent times, what's funny is 3 to 4 months ago, Pimp would be getting by far the better end of this, would be performing much better. More recent times, Pasha started to come into his own again. We're seeing big performances, not just yesterday. We saw them in the past in some other tournaments. He's started to become more of that star player, whereas he'd faded a bit before. He was one of the players who was slacking a bit for VP. So he's gotten a lot more consistent. He's adapted to the new role. Neo maybe hasn't come out so well on the opening side of it, but Pasha definitely has gotten settled in as an aggressive rifler. And what's funny is, if anything, putting him on the rifle in some ways has worked, because as an AWPer, he sometimes was a little bit too aggressive on CT side anyway, and tried to push up really close and make these highlight plays. Give him a rifle, you're allowed to do that at that point in time. You've got a license to do so.
People, sorry, go on. I was just going to add, people might find this hard to believe, but Pasha historically was never really deemed to be a smart player. And by that I mean you think through what you need to do. He was always an instinctive player. And that was for whatever logic he had in his mind, if he could see something that maybe no one else could, he'd go and he'd try and do it. Brilliant when it works, not so brilliant when it doesn't. And that was one of the great frustrations within, even going back to 1.6 in this lineup, that sometimes Pasha would do something that was inexplicable to the rest of his team. Now what they've done is they're like, well, look, when you're the AWPer and you're doing it, that's not cost effective in CSGO. That's disastrous, in fact, if you get those early picks. They've given him a rifle, and he's still making these kind of like strange pushes through a smoke and doing these weird Pasha things. They're actually working out a lot more of the time with a rifle than they were with an AWP. So he's become a much more effective player. And when you have a day like yesterday, where every decision he's making seems to just be advantageous and play it with strength, he drops 30 plus frags. Brilliant. Exactly what you need.
We've got the veto coming in just a few moments. That's going to pull up. And again, just a reminder of the Bravo match has started. Liquid looks like they won the pistol. On their I didn't see all 3 maps. Oh, here we go. Let's go back to our world. Anyway, check out the Bravo stream.
Since it's Dignitas who get the ban first, this is where I'm thinking for Dignitas, where do they want to go here? Because in terms of their ban, we didn't talk about that so much. I actually think for them, their ban, something like... I actually think
a couple, maybe?
Yeah, Overpass
Mirage?
should be one they shouldn't want to play. VP's very good on that.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe they really revert everything and they ban Train, knowing they don't want to play it. I don't know about that. Mirage and Overpass are 2 good ones, I think. Because it feels like, at the moment, in many ways, Cobble is the new Inferno. Because it's not that everyone likes it, it's that everyone's willing to play it.
Yeah.
It's like... Even if you don't like it, yeah, it's still your 3rd or 4th map that you wouldn't mind playing. So that's why you see it so much in series. I doubt they're going to ban Cobble for that reason.
Yeah,
now,
I mean...
what would be a shock here is if they did something like ban Inferno. Because if they do that, as far as I'm concerned, they've destroyed the map pool for themselves. But you never know in terms of practice, intra-team practice, like which ones they're just not doing well on. That can sometimes
Mirage would be an interesting one as well, because again, this team historically, back when they had Nico, they used to love a bit of Mirage. They'd play in it, was very effective. But we also know Virtus.Pro are like, a god tier team in the past on Mirage on that map. So do Dignitas remove that, try and take that out of the map?
I think Mirage is not an unlikely one for them to ban, because you don't think of it at the moment still as like VP's best map, but they're very hard to beat on it. They don't lose a Mirage often. That's like one where you've got to almost be also one of the best teams on Mirage to have a chance versus them. You've got to be a Na'Vi, a Fnatic. These sorts of teams could do it.
But I could definitely see an Overpass ban for Dignitas. I can't believe they've played that a lot with this new lineup. I wouldn't want to play Virtus.Pro on that map if I was Dignitas. So maybe they do go for an Overpass ban.
But that over Train ban?
Yeah, but this is the thing. They've played
They think
Train.
they can play Train.
They played Train. They beat Team Liquid on Train. It was fairly comprehensive. So maybe they think, hey, look, we let Virtus.Pro have that map. We maybe put up a fight. Who knows? Maybe we get lucky. But then at least by removing overpass, the randometer can't screw us after our pick. So that's probably how they're thinking about it. I think they'll probably let Train through, actually.
All right, well, we're just waiting to see.
But yeah, I think the overpass ban would probably be a good shout here. They're more likely to want to play Cobble. They obviously can play Mirage, maybe not to the same level as Virtus.Pro. And obviously it's still a bit of an unknown quantity with this lineup. But you need Inferno in there because ideally for Dignitas, the thing that gives them the best option is if that's the decider. And Virtus.Pro will ban Dust too. I don't even think that's like debatable at this stage. I think if Virtus.Pro let Dust 2 through, that'd be crazy.
The reason it's taking so long is because Dignitas again is in a situation where there's no obvious ban, no obvious pick, and so they're really thinking going backwards and forwards. What's the merits of us playing this? Yeah, but what can they do on that map? And maybe we take this instead. Yeah, but then what will they counter with the first pick of this if we don't ban it? And so, unfortunately, it really is a pick your own poison tonight. Whatever they pick, it's going to cause some problems in at least one map in the series, if not two. Like, in fact, if they do it really badly, if it goes really badly, especially if VP pull out some kind of crazy, like say they don't ban Dust 2, but maybe it's not going to be a pick for Dignitas. There's some ways it could go where every map could be one that Dignitas is not going to be favored on. So I understand why they're taking so long, because you don't want to rush into that decision knowing trying to figure out the grades of how
I still think the smart ban for Dignitas will be overpass. That's probably what I would do here. Get rid of that. And then, you can play Cash if that has to come up. It's like, say, you can bank on Dust 2 being taken out by Virtus.Pro. That's their go-to ban for, like, how long now? So
this music sounds like some
and
mad
they've
remix
actually
of the Guile theme.
that's interesting. They've decided to take out Cash. We didn't even consider that as an option.
Right there,
yeah, I think
VP
they've just wrecked themselves.
Bans Dust 2 as they wanted to. You took out the two maps that VP doesn't want to play out of 7.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Thank you.
Terrible veto.
The other 4
Terrible
maps,
veto.
they like all of them, and in fact, I don't know what they're going to. Let's say they even pick Inferno now. Okay, it's VP. We pick Train. There we go.
There we are.
So it should be. I'm assuming it's going to be either Inferno or Cobble. I assume here. We'll see which they go for.
Yeah, because you can't risk the Mirage pick.
And then it doesn't matter which they pick. Inferno. That's correct.
And now Mirage has come up with
stuff
on the random
anyway. I mean, it's better than Overpass.
Yeah.
So at least you've got a chance to play it, but I think banning Cash there was a huge
ridiculous
mistake.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Even if you weren't going to pick it, you wanted to at least put it out there to scare VP a little bit
but
and make
possibly
it
have it in the randometer. Yeah,
exactly. I think they've shot themselves in the foot here.
And it's quite sad actually, because they went back and forth and they discussed it so very much. Maybe they've got something up their sleeve. Maybe that there's something that we don't know going on. But ultimately, that looks to me like a very poor veto.
And this is a scenario where it feels okay. Maybe Inferno, perhaps in Mirage they can do something. I think Train is going to be extremely difficult. VP is one of the only teams I've seen who legitimately, consistently could win both halves of Train. They can get 8 or 9 T rounds on you, and then they close you out. They can put up 10-round type performances in other games on CT side. So you're really in a lot of trouble when you play them, and that is another map that Snacks just goes crazy on.
Yeah.
So, Richard, starting with you, predictions.
I gotta say 2-0 to Virtus.Pro. I mean, Train, that won't even be competitive, I don't think. Sure, they beat Team Liquid on it. Team Liquid and Virtus.Pro, 2 very different prospects. They're gonna run over them on that. I think that'll be something like really comprehensive, like 16-5 or 16-6, something like that. And then, Inferno, maybe Dignitas can keep it close, keep it competitive. But it's not like Virtus.Pro can't play that. It's not one of their, top-tier maps. But they're still more than capable of beating Dignitas on it, especially when they've got the momentum going and the plow starts. So, yeah, 2-0 all the way.
Virtus.Pro, for them, Inferno is like I said, Bialy's kind of the barometer of where the wind's blowing. That Inferno is their plow check, as it were. Like if the Inferno's going, that's when they're just in plan mode and they're going to wreck you anyway. So a lot of the Infernos they win aren't their pick. It's where they win the other map, the first map, then they win your map. That's Inferno. I think they're going to do that here. I think they're going to smash Train. I think they're going to win Inferno, which can be close, but they're going to win it anyway.
So 2-0.
2-0 for me, VP.
And again, to just turn it on the side, what has to happen for those predictions to be incorrect?
I mean,
first and foremost, for Dignitas, you better have all the stars going. It better be Pimp going crazy. You better have AZ at his absolute best. You probably need more than that.
I'm going to say I think it's Kirby, actually. Because I think it's a given at this stage. We can say AZ's going to turn up. If Pimp continues the form he had yesterday, great. But it's Kirby. Because Virtus.Pro know how to isolate and bully players. This is the team you don't want to play if you're someone like Kirby, who's maybe a little bit nervous, a little bit introverted, starts worrying about the scoreboard. So I think Kirby's the guy who's really got to hold his nerve here and needs to put in a mature performance for his team. I don't think he will, because there's been nothing historically to suggest that he will. But if he does, maybe they can keep it respectable. But even then, this is Virtus.Pro series to lose all the way.
I mean, yeah, Dignitas want to keep it respectable. VP's a team who's going to have no respect.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to bully them if they get a chance.
Yeah. So you know, it's you got to bet. You got to bet on the polls here.
All right, so just waiting for the players to ready up for the final push. Again, just a reminder, folks, because we're kind of trying to watch both here right now. Team Liquid is up 6-0 on Train against Conquest. So, and the CT side doing what they're supposed to do is on the Bravo stream, so definitely check that out. Get the dual stream thing going, if you will. So, again, in the sense of Dignitas, how much, you know, they lose Schneider, recently add Tensky, but then immediately have to go to a major, then immediately come here. So do you think any of these kind of obviously wacky map choices, or not the vetoing ones, lead into maybe his hidden strengths as a player?
That's always interesting. I do always say a single player can actually change the maps you're strong and weak on, because obviously maybe he's weak on a map you were better on, and now you can't play a spot that he's supposed to fill in for. Likewise, I mean, you've already seen it on Titan. Just adding shocks alone actually changed them into a team that wanted certain maps and were going away from other old strengths like Cash, etc. So it's interesting how it can vary.
Thing
I'm
is,
not so sure in terms of Tensky himself.
Yeah, well, one of his strongest maps was Cobble. You could back him to 20 frags consistently on Cobble. SK Gaming were pretty decent on Cobblestone, actually. They were a decent side. They were always competitive. They had some big scalps in their arsenal, and Tensky was instrumental in that. Now, they obviously haven't gone near, you know, they're not looking to pick Cobble. They're not trying to force it in. So I don't think it's anything to do with the roster change. I think this is a team that kind of knows, as soon as we get back from this event, we're going to do that Danish shuffle again, and we're going to see what can come up. I think everything before this was all about Schneider. He was going to be the wild card player, let's not forget. And when they were in DreamHack London, it was pretty much predicated on like, oh, well, you've got a free role in the team. That's what he said. Everyone else was trying to fit around him. So imagine how crushing it is to have that player not in the team now when you've prepared for a major, you've prepared for the CEVO finals. So I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think they're just trying to get through this. They're the walking wounded right now. You know, they know that they need to keep, like Duncan said yesterday, some of these guys could be playing for their Dignitas history. This is an organization that's just sold an LCS slot for $1 million. Yeah. They got money now. If they want to get upgrades, now's the time to do it, because they got money in the bank. I think some of these players are playing for their future here, and they need to recognize that and try and put in a good performance. But again, I don't think they've got the tools to be able to take someone like Virtus.Pro down at all.
And this guy right here, I mean, legendary in his own right for many, many years. Walk us through Taz a little bit.
I mean, the thing with Taz is he's a guy who has a ridiculous internal confidence. Like, even in times when he's not doing very well, and sometimes he's even a liability on his team, or he can't find his role, he's a guy where he still believes in his mind that he can be as good as all these young guys. He'll even tell you this, and like, oh, I remember in 1.6 I would beat this guy, and you know, if I get my form back, and it's me who has to give up my role within the team and make other people look good. He doesn't believe he's a support player. He thinks he's a player who's just everyone in the team can play all roles. So he's a very confident guy. But where that shows is when you play these lesser teams like this, he's not necessarily going to respect Pimp, because Pimp's a star player in theory. He's just going to go, oh, I can beat that guy. Okay, yeah, maybe Olafmeister can kill me, but I can beat these young guys. And crucially for this series, his specialty map is Train. He's very good on the CT side of this map, and that's what we're going to start the series with. So he's got a chance to just get rolling right away. And then what's the second map? Inferno. That's the map that Pasha went ham on yesterday. Like 35 kills or something. So you put these two guys out there on two of their best maps, and it's going to be a bad story for Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, Pasha had that big performance. Of course, obviously there was those overtimes in there, but they pretty much closed it out thanks to him. So that does show that they're obviously not super strong on Inferno, but they still got the job done against a very weird side that had this pugging style they probably weren't used to. I think they'll be feeling a lot better about playing Dignitas. I think they'll have a much better handle on how they're going to play.
I think what will happen is, Richard, the Danish guys, they'll be looking for their dignity after VP get that ass.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. He's been thinking about that one. He's been thinking about that one the entire time we've been doing this.
Just trying to figure out how to sneak that in.
It's just a gift, you know.
Yeah.
So one thing that's always impressed me with the core of Virtus.Pro, and Taz always talks about it, like, we yell and scream at each other, we fight, we argue. Like, these aren't, they're mates and they're buddies, but at the end of the day, they have no problem like yelling and screaming at each other to try to fix problems. Right?
I think they need that. They're that couple, okay, where they have those arguments all the time, but it's that like fire, it's that passion that actually makes their life worthwhile. You know, they want to get over the breakup so they can get back they can get back into that fiery relationship.
Yep.
I think they'd get bored if it really was just 5 guys who got along really solid, and they were like, "Oh, we tried the tactics this game, it didn't really work out. What would they be? What would they do to boost the morale there? What would they do to change things up?" At the moment, they have explosive players, and it's reflected in their personality as people and how they approach the game.
Well,
So it is true, Neo and Taz are pretty chill now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they know that some of the other guys are fiery or have a very stubborn mindset, and so they almost have to do that to balance it out.
If Taz and Neo are the mummy and the daddy,
Yeah.
this is their honor student child right
There you go,
here.
yeah.
Because Snacks is absolutely off the chain. He did have a little bit of a slump. Went to ESL Dubai, was the best player out there, just absolutely wrecking people. And since then, he's been in this incredible mode of form. I mean, even at the major, where obviously the team hasn't done too well, Snacks is on point. So this is a guy that, when you talk about star players, he's got the lot, okay? So he can post big numbers consistently. He can do things that maybe aren't spectacular, but he gets the numbers. He's got such great spatial awareness. He uses smoke smarter than anyone in the game. And on top of that, you need a secondary AWPer. All right then, sound, I can pick that up. I can do that. He can do anything. And right now, it's no coincidence that Virtus.Pro have been in this, up until the major, a good run of form. He was the driving force behind it with Snacks.
And now switching gears to the other side, obviously AZ. Walk us through him a little bit.
I mean, even when Dignitas first got this run, which actually was initially triggered from getting MSL, where Fetish went out, MSL came in, they got this more tactical style. Yes, we knew Pimp was good already. He had established himself, but really it was AZ's arrival which changed the game up. Now suddenly they had a second star, and with 2-star players, you're always going to at least be in with a shout to upset people and play well. So he has to play well at the moment with the way the team's going to make up for some of those guys, Tensky, Kirby, if they want to beat a team like VP.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time. The map is trained. Your casters, there you go. Helium and Launders, take us through map 1.
All right, we will do that for you. Here we are on a train. VP starting out on the T side, Dignitas on the CT side. There's Taz with a bunch of utility and some decoys in play here from VP. 4 Kevlars on everybody else. And the bomb is down. They're spread out. It looks like they're going for picks here, Launders.
Yeah, we get the 4-1 outside, so as long as VP don't rush, this might actually favor them.
Ooh, a lot of damage already taken by Kirby. Deliver from those 2 men at Ivy or VP. AZ now going to take a look with those USPs, try to hit those shots, but can't quite get them in. So backing off, they'll probably go scoop up the bomb. And those decoys went down. The decoys didn't really seem to force any rotations. Maybe just getting in some shock and awe, get in their heads, a lot of noise.
Yeah, what's pretty interesting is that they split up into a complete default on a map where it's so hard to get in without a full execute, and have actually done quite a bit of damage, but here they are.
Yeah, getting into the outer yard. Hensky's going to be the first one to grab a kill. AZ here from Z, standing his ground. There's Bialy. They continue to push. Pasha taken down as he peeks off the green train. AZ going over for more, but Bialy to deny him. He'll be traded out by Pimp. Now just Taz, 1 versus 3, all alone with that Glock. So he's got the ammunition to do it, but Pimp hits the headshot.
Now, VP put that round, at a little bit of, hey, let's take this risk. Split up, try to get a kill in either Ivy or if someone pushes ladder, and just hang out on a default, make sure they're not doing anything too aggressive too quickly. And what that allowed them to do is do some extra damage, get a little bit of info, but not so much. And when they split up to go back to outer, they were still facing that 4-1 that Dignitas stood strong with. I think the only thing that would have worked as a complete counter strat would have been a rush inner.
Yeah, and they, they failed to get that kill. They did get that goosh over at Ivy, did some damage, but the Dignitas players survived. And they held the yard. So VP into this one, going with a lot of deagles and armor, so pretty expensive force buy. And Bialy just going for deagle smoke, so some utility there. Neo with the P250. He will spot MSL, who was very, very good on the inner bomb site in yesterday's match against Liquid. And again, he's gone for the MP7, that 1 submachine gun on the side of Dignitas. VP still taking it slow. Pasha about to come out of Ivy. He generally holds this spot on CT side, seems to be working it on the T side as well. You can't best Kirby though, as he's got the FAMAS. Here comes Bialy, he gets the 1 dig on to Tensky, who is playing out in hell there. So 4-on-4 for the time being. VP would like to push forward to the bomb site, having difficulty getting out of ladder. Neo with the deagle again, and every time the deagle chimes a kill, the crowd answers as well. There's another headshot, MSL is down. Easy from up top, CT Heaven and the deagle. That's 3 right now for Neo. He'll have to get the 4th to win it. He's going up against Kirby. Both these guys are pretty low.
Yeah, going back to get the bomb is actually pretty interesting. It might give him an advantage because Kirby's going to think somewhere else, but no, it is outer. And he's standing strong. I'm not sure he could hear footsteps from that far away, but was fully aware of the potential of an outer plant and actually denied it. Now, Neo did cause a lot of damage that round, getting those 3 kills. And that will hurt the economy of Dignitas, who I think spent a little bit more money than just 1 or 2 rifles. Now have...
Yeah, they have 4 rifles, only 1 MP7.
Right. So every kill is that much more important. And here we have another force-up, actually. No plant and an armor last round. Very unorthodox. And I think they're expecting Dignitas to light by here and expect to get some free Glock kills. And that might be a perfect exploit for them. And wow, an AK goes down.
Yeah, MSL with an MP9 getting close over the smoke. He'll take down Taz. Still around. Does he have any support? He doesn't actually. He's alone. Pimp is coming as fast as he can. Snacks takes down MSL. AZ's on the flank actually with the other MP9. He finds 2. USP's pulled out. Snacks though, he's got a Tech 9. 1 versus 3. Galil and Bomb on Snacks. Got a lot of work ahead of him. There's those 2 rifles on Kirby and Tensky that are still up. And of course Pimp. He was quite good on train yesterday with the scoped weapons.
And we talked about the potential of Snacks with the smoke and a flash in his hands. He's so great with that utility. But he isn't a 1-on-3, and even though he has 50 seconds left, I mean, it's really easy for Dignitas on this map to play just basically rotator spots and hang out and wait to trade. Now we have 1-man inner. He's got all that info pushed all the way across the upper, and it's up to Snacks to find a first frag to open up this round.
This is going to be tough. You got Tensky sitting in Z connector right now. Kirby is basically right above him in CT sky, so for Snacks, I think to get any more than just 1 kill is going to be pretty difficult. Pimp is far away though. Snacks, he's going to go for the bomb plant. They need that money. VP have been forcing up. Probably not even going to be able to get much of a buy in the next one. And yeah, just trying to get to a better position, but Tensky stops him from rounding the corner, and he gets that defuse. So 3-0 for Dignitas to start off train.
Yeah, there's the type of play you make in a 1-on-1 and then one you make in a 1-on-3 like that. And he got the bomb down. He would have ideally liked to have killed 2 people before he could plant, or at least just 1. But instead, because he got the plant, had to make a risky play, try to get away from the action so that he could get the best after plant spot he possibly could, instead of kind of jumping through a smoke, taking a fight 1-on-1 only to get traded immediately. So that's why we saw him do that. And I guess what's fortunate for Virtus.Pro is that he was able to get a plant. I mean, 3 people on the site, I mean, 2 people really close to him, meant that it was very unlikely if he came from anywhere else but Ivy.
Yeah, so that plant is very, very nice. They'll have rifles, a full-on rifle round in the next one. For now, it's just the Tech 9, some utility. Probably just hoping to cause some damage. Maybe get that bomb down. Help out your round 5 chances. Although Dignitas, you hear that Deagle. You know, Neo just reminded you that the Deagle is very dangerous a round or 2 ago. So they might not want to peek. Dignitas can just sit tight with their crossfires here in the outer yard.
Definitely making their presence known, but only a couple flashes to their name. They're spread out like they were on the pistol round. And we'll look to just make this round expensive. Every gun they can drop right now is highly valuable. Kirby actually might get caught off guard too. No.
Yeah, was looking the wrong way a little bit there, but flicks over. Neo, with the pistol again, finds 1. AZ was missing some shots, but he does find the kill in the end. Gets a second, actually. And Snacks on the inner bomb side with that Tech 9, tapping away, trying to just find a headshot. We'll take a couple at range, actually. And he'll go down. So just 1 loss. It's Tensky that falls for Dignitas, so they're okay with that. Pimp will want to upgrade off of this scout. It's 4-0. VP don't want to let this get out of hand.
Yeah, you could see VP's urge early in these last couple of rounds to start off strong, right? Steal back the momentum, get around on the board before Dignitas get off to a strong start. But Dignitas have survived that storm and now are moving into a rifle of 4-0. A really good economy overall. An off in the hands of Pimp, and I think just as many nades as they need.
And,
as it stands, I think it's a 70-30 round for the CTs as long as they play their advantages, and those include having the utility.
Snacks, look how far Snacks is already out in the yard here. He's smoked up. Now they're coming inner. It's just MSL. The help is pretty far away because Snacks pulled them off the quick rotation spots. MSL from up top on pop only finds Neo. Bialy's there for the trade. Bomb is going down. Have any of the tiers pushed aggressive? Taz was trying to, but he's been brought down by Kirby. AZ moving through. Kirby going up top on the train. Here's Pasha getting aggressive, taking the fight to the CTs, and Snacks is flanking from the Z connector. Tensky will win that battle, and it's just Bialy with this Molotov. But the smoke goes down on the bomb that completely neutralizes that Molotov play off the door. And he knows this. He goes out for the spray down, almost gets them both, but Pimp with a quick one off the ladder.
Yeah, wow, that was an extremely close spray. And what was key there was Tensky's awareness to see that Snacks would be flanking through Z, which is just a common thing to do. We've seen that so many times. We saw that from Fugly last map versus Dignitas, and so maybe he was just waiting for Fugly in that sense. But we've seen so many people do a 4-1 inner where they send one ladder, and that can secure the round. Again, we talked about how you can get the bomb down inner, but it's still hard to win the round. It's very easy to retake, and that's why some people don't even play anyone close up or aggressively to trade, because you can throw so many nades and neutralize people on the bomb site. But MSL did a great job too, doing almost 200 damage in defense as a solo man on the site.
It was kind of crazy to see that Snacks was even still alive. He ran out into the outer yard 1 versus 4, still lived, stayed alive, and then tried to push in that flank. It wasn't good enough though. VP dropped that round. Dignitas 5-0. But Tensky, he's been taken out. Snacks gets the opening kill out of the A bomb site, but Pimp just hit in the head there of Pasha as he peeks. Very nice shot, and a 4-on-4 still in favor of the terrorists. Of course, they've got a lot of utility. They might want to try to use it, but still separated for the time being. You got 2 in the halls and 2 back in T-spawn mid-room.
Oh, and here we have AZ. Just pushed up to ladder. I mean, he's got a lot of information. Let's say they wanted to fake inner here and run down the ladder. AZ would be in a prime position to not only stop them, but to hear them. But it looks like MSL will have the pressure put on him. He's going to go for the spray now. Gets traded out 1 for 1. Nice straight frag from Neo.
Well, this is being watched. AZ's on the quick flank, but Bialy is ready for this. But he loses the battle, taken down through the corner of the wall. Kirby gets Neo. That leaves Snacks alone on 12 HP. Found the first kill of the round, but that was going to be it.
Yeah, it's crazy how important those trades can be. Like if we see it's 3-on-1, if AZ goes down, who got a second frag there as well, then it would have been a 2-on-2. Bialy also would have had upper control, peace of mind, knowing that there isn't going to be anyone on the flank, and the after plant would have been more or less a dream, I feel like. And instead, Dignitas are now off to a 6-0, looking very strong. And yesterday, I had questions as to whether or not Liquid were playing at their top form, or if Dignitas were really surprising us. And it looks like it was Dignitas who really do look strong so far in this tournament, and I don't think this lead is any small feat. It is a pistol, but it's also been at least 3 rifles and a couple of force-ups that they've won.
Yep. MVP having max bonus and getting the bomb down in the last one. Have a pretty solid buy here, so another rifle round in round 7. No ops though. Pimp has his. Snacks is just pushing this incendiary straight into Kirby's crosshair, so he's gone down. Neo pushing a smoke. Tensky waiting for it, but he's still bested by the quick reflexes of Neo. Pasha finds 1. He can go off on this map with these rifles. But there's Kirby saying, oh, I don't need a rifle. I've got a deagle. MSL coming from behind in ladder room. 3 members surviving for Dignitas in a 7-0.
It really might look overly aggressive to just jump through the smokes on T side, but outside in train, all you need to do is open up the round, make it 5v4. If you get a second kill, great, but the point is to get across the site as soon as possible. And even though the smokes are down, that doesn't mean that you have to respect them. Dignitas only have so many men with so many eyes, and so they can only watch certain things for so long, and catching people off guard through good timings means that it does require risk to be taken, and recognizing that we're Virtus.Pro, but Dignitas responding to the aggression really well, shutting it down and looking very, very convincing, keeping 3 alive.
So the way it looks now, it looks like VP with these smokes set up kind of outside the extremities of that A bomb site are just going to go for a smoke play to try to get this bomb down. Still taking their time with it, so not quite yet. Pasha's pushed up pretty far in Ivy. Kirby playing a little bit more of a passive position in the back halls.
Whenever you split Ivy, this is kind of...
Oh no, it was actually right on target, but it backfires. He's still switching out to that M4. Pasha takes him down, then gets caught with a flash. Tensky, that's 1 kill, does a 180, gets another. And maybe a third, but no, Taz from the side takes him with the P250. Neo out of Z, gets 1, but there it is, MSL and AZ.
Nice cleanup from Tensky there on top of that train. And yeah, I was about to say, when you do that outer split, Ivy is such a long lane, and it's kind of like the 3rd area that you can split. This is why train requires 4 people to hold it. It's because not that there's bad cover on the side, it's that you have 3 entrances to deal with. And the hardest part about your outer split is getting Ivy control so that you can time it. Everybody can come out Decon, ladder, and Ivy at the same time. And so because Pasha was all the way up ladder, it gave him a really good opportunity to do a proper split. But even though he got an opening frag, Tetsky cleaned it up.
Yeah, so the max bonus stays, but of course no bomb plant on that last round. Even still, it's good enough for VP. getting the full buy-in and starting it off. There's Neo picking up the op, and he wins the sniper duel. Pimp is down, and that's an entry kill for VP. We're continuing to just walk it in the box halls here. MSL might go for the peak, or will he just hold the angle? Sitting tight for now, goes for the peak. Taz obliterates him.
That was pretty cute of MSL to drop his gun back there so it wouldn't be heard or actually seen if he went to swap out for the op, but then saw it was too far out for him to do that.
In a beautiful position. He pushed into the mid room and he finds two. Doesn't even know he's probably lit up that other player through the smoke, who must have been Neo. Comes at him with the op. Kirby in the same exact position. There's no way they're expecting another one here. He knows he can take that time. Takes down the opper first. Tries to get snacks, but he escapes with 72 HP into the 2 on it too. And wow, one player after another being in that mid room really hurt VP. Still with a good chance of getting that bomb down. Kirby and AZ will have to retake. They have kits, but they have absolutely no utility. Taz, if he can work his way up to the halls, has that Molotov that we see so often to drop down that bomb, but Taz pushing aggressive, finds AZ. Got a read on this last player, takes Kirby down, and will give VP their first round, but it was a very close one that almost fell apart.
Yeah, nice shot from Taz. He put himself in a position to get two kills, and only risking someone peeking out across those bottom lanes to have to take his first duel, and that put him in a really good spot. I mean, great patience from him, and a good lurk into the B site to secure them the round. Now, that was a 1v1, so this is a crucially important round for Virtus.Pro. If they're not able to win this, they're looking at a 3-for-1 round, and that is Dignitas, who will likely make it 11-1.
Some quick smokes into the outer yard, but none of VP actually moving on this.
Yeah, watch for that T-con push too. Tensky did that so many times, and it almost always worked when they had the appropriate timing.
Oh, Neo there. Oh, who broke the TV?
The plasma.
Yeah. So Neo was lining up a smoke to cover off the back of the green train, which would allow those Ivy players to probably push into the back halls. It seems like they've since backed off, and we're going to see some more set smokes onto this outer A site. So they're going for the split, but they're going heavy on the ladder and just the mid room. No one coming through Ivy. You can see the smokes and the Molotovs going down, keeping those Dignitas people just locked in positions. They've got to hit their shots. It's gone 1 for 1. As Kirby gets another. It's a 3-on-2. Kirby still stuck in that smoke. Spotted Snats, who was on 7 HP, but couldn't land that shot. And now MSL from Z in a 1 versus 3, pretty winnable one. I don't think VP will give him the peaks, but these guys are really, really low, and MSL low himself on 12 HP will just run away.
Yeah, all that information was had on the outer site, and Virtus.Pro win just a crucially important round. And again, even though Dignitas could have been up 11-1, like there would still be the potential for an 11-4 half. And the thing is about the T side is that if you give up a couple of rounds, I mean, it can really get ugly for you if you don't have a stellar T side yourself. And yeah, I mean, Virtus.Pro do come away with that, saving 4 people in total in the last 2 rounds. So here, it's actually Dignitas to be saving after 2 rounds. And it seemed like they were fairly consistent, saving a certain number of players every round. But that was that might have been a little bit of an illusion, as now we have what looks like a full buy from MSL, who had I guess come away with that gun. Yeah, so he's just got full nades, and he was their solo interman. So I wonder how they're going to use him this round, considering it's an eco.
Well, he's actually going up aggressive to the boxes at ladder. Now even going inside, too. He's got a bit of a support. Kirby watching the flank there. In case anyone happens to push out middle. Taz waiting on anyone to maybe come up the ladder. 2 players, pretty standard here for VP. They like to put some pressure on Ivy early on.
I really actually love this setup from Dignitas. I mean, they're playing all the close angles possible, and if it turns out to be an outer split or a fake, they have really close-up spot at ladder. And that bomb gets past without making a drop.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the ground, so no noise. That flash, unfortunately, that caught Taz square in the face, so MSL just gift-wrapped a kill right there. Viali and Pasha, though, will not let them out for free. Pasha already locked down this Z connector. It's going to make this rotation very, very difficult. And again, it's just the pistols. Dignitas wants to cause some damage, maybe save an AK going into this next round, perhaps get the off of Neo.
It looks promising, but there was nothing more to say there than that getting IV slowly was the right call. I mean, they assumed it wasn't going to be played where, you know, many teams will force push ecos through IV, and they made the
the brave call there to just try to take it up slowly with Pasha and Bialy, and that allowed them to get into the site and catch two people flying out into what they felt like was safety.
Oh, Pimp, he'll make it a little bit more expensive. Finds one, finds a second onto Bialy. That'll do that.
Yeah, 8-3 now, and Virtus.Pro do not look like they had just been down 8-0. 8-3 is a very, very manageable scoreline. They've got a full buy on their hands. Yeah, Pimp did make it expensive there, and the economy does matter at this point, but at a certain point, the rounds are the things that are what you're going to remember when the half is all said and done. And now, Dignitas have spent all their money, a total of $100 left between two players on their team, half armor on a multitude of players, and only one kid on the board for MSL. That's going to be Inner.
Yeah, not many rounds left in the half, but VP got themselves into a position now where if they win, they can probably keep Dignitas on a buy-save rotation for the rest of the half, which could allow VP on this T side to pick up quite a bit of rounds, despite, I mean, having, what, it was 8-0 at one point. Now VP suddenly in a position to have a great half as the CT economy is collapsing. And Snacks already starting them off. Got the kill onto Tensky, so it keeps MSL inside, 3 outer.
It looks like they're selling a launder's fake, selling one person in or throwing all your nades, and then looking to split up for an outer hit. But I don't know if they caused a rotation. They actually did. They've got someone going back and forth, tethering Z right now.
The Molotovs go down. Pimp in a more forward position, so he won't be too affected by that. He's got Kirby supporting from above. When will Pimp decide to peek? He's staying quiet for now. Kirby and AZ bringing in these kills. They've got the man advantage right now, 4 versus 3. Pimp is still an unknown factor. Snacks takes him out of the equation. AZ up at CT Sky, 3 on 3. The bomb is being planted. Oh, there is a cover of a smoke that went down to block off that Z line of sight. AZ from up top. He's revealed his position. He has found the frag, though. Now pushing on, it's going to be MSL. Kirby falling at Z. MSL now in a 1 versus 1. Neo with that op, holding the angle, and he lands the shot. VP with 4, and we know that Team Dignitas will have no money coming into this next round.
No, at this point, Neo's no stranger to the op, and he's so damn reliable with that thing that it looks like he's very happy to have cleaned that up. Now, Virtus.Pro put another crucial round on the board, actual 2-for-1 here. Dignitas are slowly slipping in terms of their ratio, only have a 2-to-1 at this point when they are coming from an infinite. And Snacks here with the MAC-10 is fully aware that Dignitas are probably going to be on a very low buy and will most likely abuse that, pushing out aggressively.
Yeah, and Snacks just running out, figuring out what's going on. He's got the MAC-10. He's looking for the intel, finds one player on the site, and manages to get that kill despite a player right behind him in Ivy. So Snacks has gone down, but a big deal. He's only dropped away a MAC-10. VP have 3 rifles and an op to try to contend with that. They've planted on the inner site. Kirby and AZ can only try to set up for some exit frags.
Super nice round last round from Virtus.Pro on their outer take. It was extremely slow. We saw Neo throw those nades inner, and then they rocked it back to outer, but they didn't essentially just hit it right away. They threw some Molotovs out, tried to flush people out of their usual spots, and it didn't actually do anything, but they had peace of mind when going into the site knowing that half of the million angles that you have to check on going outer are clear. And so I think that was some really good patience from them. Something you don't see on trains. Typically, like, when you execute outer, everybody explodes out, and you either win or you lose, but no, they kept that patience alive. And AZ there. Actually, did he just grab a gun? Or he got a kill running through Z?
Yeah, he killed Taz, who had an AK, but I don't think he was able to get to it in time.
He definitely just dropped his MAC-10 for something, though.
I think he just threw it at the end of the round. Maybe there was a gun there. We'll find out. There wasn't, because there's no AKs on the CT side right now. So they've got all M4, 2 A4s, 2 A1Ss, the op there on Pimp. And VP doing what they've been doing, just spreading out, putting some early pressure on Ivy, looking for that information, causing some damage, and you can hear the players, or I could hear the players yelling nice as Snacks hit that shot. He's brought down Pimp. So Sniper Duel 1, and it's gone in favor of VP.
Yeah, the importance of opening kills there. We hear from the resounding yells of Virtus.Pro, and Kirby in the smoke actually goes down. That makes it 5v3. This is huge.
That's a pretty dominant round so far. There's AZ, going to try to bring it back for Dignitas. Tensky in a difficult position. He's going to slide over to Hell. And AZ just waiting for Taz to climb up that ladder so slowly. That smoke is Not for the side that AZ is watching, so he's got a clear line of sight right now. Ends up finding 2, so very big round for AZ, trying to bring it back. Even still with that effort, it's MSL versus 2. It's Taz and Neo. Now just Neo as MSL finds Taz. Flash will go out, Molotov as an answer from Neo, and more nades. That one banking off. I think he knows MSL's gone to the site. Neo lucky to be alive right now. Will switch out to the AK here on just 10 HP. MSL only on a P2K, but needs just one bullet. It even hits the head of Neo. So Dignitas, they get that round.
The psychology of that 1v1 was so intense, just picking the right side of the site to peek. Which side is he going to peek based on how was he playing that bomb train? And, you know, Neo looking very upset that he picked the wrong side at the wrong moment. Also took quite a bit of damage, though, and was kind of stuck using his pistol in that 1v1 at the end of it. But Dignitas do clean it up. AZ getting those 2 frags is super huge. He actually has 20 frags in the half so far. It's not a small feat whatsoever. But MSL, the inner rotator, is at such a disadvantage because you always know if you kill everybody outside, they know MSL plays inner where he's going to rotate from. The thing is, Taz actually planted on the front side of the train for ladder, and I think that actually bit him in the ass a little bit.
Yeah, it was brought down. So MSL playing at the coils does have support of Pimp watching that upper catwalk. Make sure they don't drop onto MSL. And these could be very powerful positions. We see VP. Sometimes it can be very slow, but it looks like they are going to be throwing this set execute with just a little over a minute on the clock. And could be running straight into the trap. MSL has already found the first. That dropped the bomb. He's out to find the second. Neo there. And AZ now pushing the smoke. Neo's got no extra help, no support. He's gone down. A player's been flashed. And who was that up there? Taz. I thought Taz was in a lot of danger of being taken down by Pimp, but I guess Pimp was smoked off.
Yeah, no. 2v3, bomb goes down. Taz on the flank spot has, the awareness to get off.
So Tensky has stopped that. Pasha left with a 1 versus 2. Sees the player up the top of the train, hits the shot. Fade away from Pasha, but starts to go up the ladder, and Kirby's there to shoot him down. So Dignitas got up to 8-0. Looked like they might have just been on the track to lose out, but strike right back, and they find the double digits. 10-5 on train. That's a pretty fine performance on your CT side up against a team like VP.
Yeah, as Thorin pointed out, like VP could easily run away with T-side train anytime. So especially versus a team like Dignitas, who just look on point right now. And I think Virtus.Pro are not happy at all with the fact they came away with 5 rounds, even though that might be just enough for any other team, or many other teams, I guess I should say. A lot of those rounds were solid. It was a great comeback. It was a great lead to start it off. It's kind of just how you want your CT half to go. You know, maybe you have a couple of flubs, you let a few mistakes slide, but you've won so many rounds in total that you can't let those slide. And look at that, 132 ADR on the dot for AZ.
And even MSL with 107.
Yeah, and you know, MSL has a round to his name. Those clutch kills are relatively invaluable and can't really be compared in KDA, but if I were to look at KDA and just like add up clutch kills in total, I would at least give them an extra kill per because they're so important. You know, the round wouldn't have been won without them, obviously.
And you can see 7 2Ks for AZ. He had quite a few. That's the most multi-kill rounds. A couple others getting into 4. And no one, I mean, Neo did pretty well, but of course, remember some of his kills coming with that Deagle, where they didn't even end up winning the round, so he's got some kills of that nature under his belt in that round. Of course, I mean, you've got to remind yourselves, they were on the T side, they can run away with it. Doesn't mean they have to. VP is certainly capable of, you know, just getting this pistol and not letting Dignitas do anything on the T side. But yesterday on the T side, we go to getting these entry frags. MSL, I guess it was more so in the Cobble match against Liquid, but he was going off the rails, which would be very adequate for Train. You know, it's great play on words there, but just triple headshot entries. I mean, if he can replicate that, it could be dangerous.
Snacks actually had 4 first frags as well, which is a really good stat for him. In that Train match, he was getting a couple of off frags. He killed Pimp at Ivy, as you mentioned, won those duels at least 2 or 3 times, and those resulted in rounds. I think actually from that 3v5 situation, only one time Snacks got that opening kill, and the round was won by the other team, and that's because a clutch counteracted that.
And we are ready to go. We're in spawn, watching those CTs run out and try to defend their train yard. 3 armors for Dignitas. AZ's got the utility, MSL with 1 flash, so that means, he has a Tech 9. I thought maybe he would have dropped it to create that raid boss. But look, Snacks and Taz getting so aggressive. And there's a third here as well. Taz with 3 headshots, just like that. Neo finds the fourth. AZ finally gets something going for Dignitas, but he's left all alone. That's 2 kills now. Can probably find this third. Snacks is very, very low. So AZ with the 3K, he'll have to go for the ace. He switches out to a USP, but it's only got 11 bullets in it after that reload.
No, this is...
He does only need 2.
This is extremely winnable right here. Now, Upper will be spotted. If he found that first headshot, who knows what would have happened, but Pasha cleans him up instead, and yeah. It was a 1v5 situation, and definitely you would be sweating if you were on the team that ended up in the 1v2, but it's at this moment Virtus.Pro, look to take this game back into their hands, and upsets only occur when pistols are won, when clutch rounds are won, rounds you're not supposed to are won, rounds at a disadvantage are won, and Dignitas have put quite a few of those on the board, but haven't come away with the second pistol, and have to work back from the T side. It's not going to be an easy road.
And Biala, we've seen this already in the first half. We saw how quick the MP9 came through from, I think it was either AZ or MSL. I think AZ, I believe, on that flank. And Biala set himself up in a very similar position. MSL hasn't quite given up, though. You can see him watching ladder. Now he just starts to trot away. Neo, smokes, flashes going out. Will throw a very big nade, does a lot of damage. And Taz from up top actually cleans up those kills. He's got 2. Pimp pushing around the fuel tanker pretty quick with the Tech 9. Can't hit the shots. Taz finds a third, now a 4th. So that's already 7 kills in the first 2 rounds. So the second half here for Taz.
Always nice to get him in the early rounds, I suppose. And that's Virtus.Pro grabbing the 7th round. The bomb did go down, and I wonder what that'll mean for Dignitas. If we look at their money, it seems that they are going to be buying up next. I wonder if that means they're going to save up quite a bit here. It looks like, no, not quite. Kirby has a deagle, AZ has a deagle, MSL and Tensky both bought deagles as well. And it looks like, I guess we could call this a deco if we round up. Pimp, the only man with a P250, who also wants an op. He's got an expensive habit. But it might make a world of difference moving into the first rifle round.
All right, well, Taz playing his signature position inner on that lower ramp side. We got 4 outer with Pasha watching Ivy. Might find himself in battle with Pimp here even before the ops come out, as Pimp is the player for Dignitas trying. He's actually pushed the smoke. He's brought down by Snacks. Oh no, sorry, Snacks gets Kirby.
Nope. Now, putting a round on the board is not the goal here. Getting another bomb plant would be crucially important. We do have a great lurk from AZ. This could mean so much. I mean, if he hangs out with enough patience, he could catch them off guard. But no, too aware of Virtus.Pro. He might have taken a step there.
Yeah, and Tensky trying to get a kill, but he cannot do it. VP, big money building round for them right there. Don't drop a single player, barely even take any damage. Snacks just goes down to 52. So VP up to 8, but now the first rifle round for Dignitas is going to come out here, and it will be that, just all rifles. Pimp couldn't get up to that op quite yet. Neo has, however, and Snacks is still going to stay on this FAMAS.
And we always talk about how important the pistol round is, because that's a round in itself, right? And then it's also a 3-for-1 if you count the 2 eco rounds to follow, or force-ups, which might make it even 4 if they are to be lost. But now Virtus.Pro are only within 2 of equalizing. And the thing is that if they win this round, they are equalized.
Tensky's already pushed all the way to the green. Train, Pimp, and Kirby hitting the shots from further away. Taz going to drop down the ladder, but Kirby hears that, turns very quickly to intercept him. Dignitas having a beautiful round, maybe a near perfect one. Some damage taken, but it's now just Neo with an op. 1v5 on Train in the outer yard. That's an impossibility. He'll miss his first shot even. Turns to get AZ, but AZ guns it down, and there it is. Dignitas, they get into that first rifle, and that can ease their minds a little bit.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if you lose that round, you lost the pistol. You had to just eat 3 losses in a row. You move into your first rifle round, and you lose that. Even though it's on T side, you know you have to go into the next round and just lose it again, and then it's back to the drawing board, and you have to figure out a way to win a round on T side, which you haven't done before. And again, these teams have never gone head to head. So this is a really big learning experience for both teams, and it will be a matter of adaptation as well as hitting shots. That will make the difference here. The stylistic matchup is still up for question.
All right, Pimp covering his players. He's watching the push in from the upper catwalk. Looking for some of that information. 2 players actually have slid inner right now for VP. They've got a bit more defense there. Taz going up this ladder might decide to get aggressive. I think he's found a nice little overhang to get this pop flash off of. That's a nice one.
Absolutely critical round for Dignitas, who won't have many easy T rounds to come by, and if they win this one, it will be a 2-for-1. They're also in a great position because they kept 5 alive last round, that they just have built up so much economy at this point, as well as put an op in the hands of Pimp for free, that they have rounds to work with. And even just the thought that you can lose the round, I feel like would make it easier to win because there's less pressure on you to do it one way or the other.
And this is a big round for Dignitas, of course. You know, they win the first rifle, VP, having won a few in a row, still able to sustain a decent buy here. But if they lose, it'll be the 2-for-1 for Dignitas. They can really extend that lead. But a lot of time is ticked off the clock. Still no one even has the bomb in their possession. So you're going to have the Dignitas players rotate over, grab that bomb. MSL is working inside. He finds that first kill. The bomb has been scooped up. Taz cleans out inside. So VP's going to know they're actually coming outside. With only 16 seconds left, it might not be enough. They haven't even got over to the bomb train yet. And VP starting to land their shots, 4 versus 2. And the time in the red, 5 seconds left. Pimp misses that shot, finally hits it, but with no time, what can he do? And he might even die after it. He does. That's massive. That's going to hurt Dignitas.
Yeah, the only thing saving him from actually saving right now is the fact that they managed to keep so many people alive last round. He's just got enough money for his armor and stuff like that. If not, if he even had a rebuy for himself, he would have basically had $0 to do so this round. So it's huge that Virtus.Pro were able to kill him after the timer, but he does have his saving grace. And now it's actually going to be him with a Galil, which he is opting to buy over like something like Tech9 and Nades, even though his team has quite a bit of firepower. So it's an interesting decision, but either way, on that round, you know, they did try to fake inner. MSL ended up getting an entry. They kept 2 players on the rotate, and they still didn't have enough explosiveness to get through the site. And that's AZ opening up a crucial round here. Now it's 5v4, and they've done some good damage. If they want to go back to a full execute, I wouldn't put it past them because Pasha's also very hurt.
Yeah, he took quite a bit of damage at Ivy. Dignitas also putting pressure on Ivy in the early round.
You know, noticing last round that there were 2 players inner, maybe if they decided to group for an inner hit, knowing that a solo man would be most expected, might make sense.
Well, I mean, they started to hit inner, right? And Neo was there along with, who was their Taz. And actually killed Neo, then just decided to back off. Here's Kirby and Tensky getting some more headshots, planning outside, and it's Taz, who is that man left alone inner since pretty much the start of the round after Neo went down.
Yeah.
I'll just sit by the Ivy here in CT spawn, hoping someone walks.
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic round from Dignitas there, doing so much damage, getting that opening pick from AZ, and pushing up Ivy, smoking the right side, and not the literal right, but actually the left side, but it was the right side because that's where Pasha was standing, and completely rendered him useless, as well as putting his teammate in jeopardy, who I think he should have called and made sure that no one walked around the backside of that bomb train in case someone actually walked up like they did. Now Dignitas will move on with a strong lead. 3 players alive here. Taz saved a rifle, but will that mean they can buy into the next round? It looks like not.
No, they're going to be pretty poor. I mean, that's rough. We'll see what Taz can do. Again, you run into that circumstance where your inner player has that rifle. You generally play inner solo anyway, so you just keep your rifle there.
Yeah, economic game coming into huge effect here, especially on their T side. And
that is what they'll do.
Yeah, Pimp is again going to have that op.
All right, so Taz is going to have to come up big. Bialy has already found a USB headshot. Tensky now coming in, ending that fun. Snacks very flash, but pushes through the smoke, and I actually think he went unnoticed. Tensky spotting some through the fire, and yeah, Snacks has gone unnoticed. And with that silencer, can make life difficult for Pimp. Pimp seems to have a decent read on what's happening, but Pasha from the other side just pushing through. Now he's got an op in his hand. He can be dangerous. It's Kirby and MSL who are going to try to slide through Z, get out of this outer yard, and switch it up. Pasha with the op. Snacks does have a kit. He's also found himself an AK. Neither of these guys have armor, which can complicate matters. And Kirby and MSL have, well, they've kind of turned this into 2 1v1s on just opposite sides of the inner bomb site.
And it looks like Pasha actually got out-lurked there. Yeah, that's it. You know, the mark of a really good team is one that can win a 2v2, especially one versus one that has so much confidence and experience, such as Virtus.Pro and Dignitas prove that they can just do that right there. Pasha picking up that op, I'm sure we were all worried for Dignitas in that situation, considering that was his primary rifle or primary gun for so long. But you know, it was a full eco. They made a lot out of it. The thing was that it would have been pretty necessary for them to win that for the future of this map. I mean, considering this is actually a double save for them, so Virtus.Pro looking to half buy at this point and win out from 14-9.
Yeah, which could prove difficult. Dignitas showing us that they can find rounds even on the rifles. They looked very good on this map last night. And the pistols, close angle here from Taz. Does have support inside from Neo. And, well, everybody there for Dignitas. Taz pushing, getting aggressive, will take down Pimp, shoots him off of the boxes. He's flashed, but so is MSL, so MSL's not going to be hitting any shots in the near future. Neo comes across with that P250, finds 2 quick headshots. Will he find the third? Nope. Tensky keeping Dignitas alive in this round. I'm sure they're sweating a bit. Sure, they've got these AKs. That's somewhat of an advantage, but the Deagle shots are saying otherwise. Tensky left in a 1 versus 3. He's got the bomb. He's got time on the clock. This will be difficult. It's like little annoying mosquitoes getting at him from every angle, and there's Pasha. That's 10 for VP, and that was a massive round for them. 13-10 is so much better than 14-9.
Yeah. Virtus.Pro must be the biggest mosquitoes on the planet.
Yes.
But they did really pester them on that round. I mean, just taking attention away from the other person who's shooting, and that is the key to winning an aim duel with aim punch, right? If you're taking a fight one-on-one facing someone who's shooting you, you're almost always going to lose it. But when Neo is able to shoot players coming down the ramp on a straight-up inner hit as someone is taking their attention away on Pop Dog, you have a great setup on your hands, and that's how Virtus.Pro won that round. Now, I really thought that they were going to concede that round and think about the next one, but at this point, it looks like they're looking to steal back their momentum and have actually earned themselves a save from Dignitas, which is huge as well.
So far, only Pasha has fallen. Dignitas still haven't made really too much ground into the A bomb site. Kirby starting to push forward now. Can he find any of these one digs? No, AZ also getting denied. Bialy bringing them both down with that AK. He finds a 4K on that round, so some nice cleanup frags for him. And that puts this game within 2. It's 13-11. Dignitas still leading.
And look at that.
They've got into rifles, but there is a Galil. 2 Galils, actually.
Oh, it's funny because Virtus.Pro actually, you know, they went into an eco round, they lost it, and it was very close. They went into the next round basically having a half buy and won it. And because they were going to buy up ops on the following round, that's why they decided to double save. They have so much money left over at this point that they've almost negated the entire lead that Dignitas have within that one round. And so, you know, eating that loss of Dignitas, they're going to have to work from behind at this point, but will do so. And their confidence can lie in the fact that they have won many rounds of Q-side so far.
And interesting to note here, even though they've been winning a couple rounds, VP will pull out the double ops. And it looks like Snacks did find a 2K with his. Pasha got 1. Neo will preserve it, so that double op strategy will continue on here for VP. Because like they won with their pistols, which was nice for them, of course. Then they have a rifle just as an anti-eco. So that was easy for them. And right into an next rifle round, then they make their adjustment. They go for the double ops. And
yeah.
It seems like it paid off. I mean, 3 kills from your 2 ops. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and Dignitas just went into a buy save situation where last round they had the money to do it, but went up for their straight up outer take. And in these later rounds, in the last part of this half, Virtus.Pro have been able to shut down their outer takes like almost no problem, and that is going to leave, you know, a couple of question marks in Dignitas' head as to whether or not they need to readjust their outer take, whether their outer take would work if they did the exact same thing again but hit shots, or if they need to actually think about using the other site. But if they do go with that third option, Virtus.Pro might be ready, and here they are with a 2-3 setup.
The quick execute. Taz took some early damage, still is good for 2 frags. Neo also helping him out with another 2. So that leaves MSL alone. 1 versus 4. Finds the head of Neo's got a lot more work to do, but he just eats that grenade.
And you cannot sleep on Virtus.Pro. They will take a round and they will run with it. This is what we're seeing now. And we look at this bolstered economy. We've got so much money here, so much more equipment value. And actually, even though Dignitas have the buy that they want, if both teams have a full buy, then CTs do have a distinct advantage on the CT side, especially if Dignitas aren't throwing their nades in the correct spots. Now, their outer take seems to be just quite weak, but the thing is that they have to keep Virtus.Pro honest and believing that they will try to take outer again, even if it is the case that they want to go inner. And it looks like Virtus.Pro, fully aware of this potential, is continuing to play 4-1. Taz, always known for playing inner by himself, will do so with confidence, and Pasha opens up the round with his op.
Yep, through Ivy, he finds Tensky. Pimp is also there, and peeks quick enough to outgun Pasha. So back to that 4-on-4. Dignitas in a good position now. They had spread out, looking for these early picks, hoping to maybe stop some CT pushes, which didn't really come. And a minute on the clock. Snacks starting to push up in middle. And MSL and AZ working their way into the ladder room. The bomb going Ivy, so they will be going for this outer split. 2 Ivy, 2 ladder.
Yeah, and you can see, by the way, that Virtus.Pro has positioned people that they are fully anticipating an inner hit here. Not playing dedicated outer with at least 3 people, which you most of the time want to do, and that's the real issue with being at a man disadvantage. But now MSL walking out of the T-Con might give up this kill, and Snacks finds a very important frag, though. A trade on the other side of the map. Bialy gets the kill.
Yeah, both of them in outer were right around these blue and green trains, so not really the best spots to stop the ladder and Ivy split. Snacks has done well to find 2 kills, but it's not enough. AZ finishes him off, finding a 2K of his own on that round. So Dignitas back into the lead, 14-13 as we go into round 28.
1 away from match point now. Dignitas actually managed to take outer there. They got the opening frag. No, did they actually just even up? Yeah, Pimp managed to trade, and they went 4v4, and they took it slowly, decided to take outer. Virtus.Pro actually anticipated an inner hit once that happened, and were playing 2-2 on the sites. They wouldn't have done that if they thought it was going to be an outer hit, but they would 100% play 3-1. They were going to play 4-1 at the beginning of the round and expected a full rotate back, but they were wrong about that. So Dignitas have the strategic advantage as well as, right now, a round advantage.
Yeah, Pimp will start off on this round. Dignitas changing the pace greatly. They go into the outer yard very, very quickly. Double ops also from VP. Pasha has found a kill. And Neo from very far away, helping Taz finish that one off with just the pistol. So VP on the man advantage, still with the 2 ops. Bialy with the A4. It's up to AZ and Tensky, and now just Tensky on the back of this blue train. He's hearing Bialy. He's just trying to get it. He does, lines it up nicely. He's just got to keep on fragging. He's got plenty of time. Can work around, try to clear everything.
Wow, so much patience in this 1v2. I think he's playing it very carefully. Oh, but the pill won't be given up. Neo always getting those important frags at the end of the round, and here we are. 2 teams vying for a match point, but will it be Dignitas to save? Oh, Virtus.Pro now in a huge lead, have a second op on the board, and it looks like it's going to be a cleanup crew. Dignitas have to decide whether or not they're going to force up here or play for the tie. It would make sense, the most sense, obviously, to play for the tie in this situation and go to OT. But again, the longer and longer that these games go on, every time we see Virtus.Pro go to OT with a team that they're supposed to be,
clean sweep it once they get there.
Yeah, they will eventually win, and so that's why that decision is so important, and it would make sense for it to go either way.
This nade from Taz could be doing a lot. They try to run past it, but it may not matter. Neo gets 2, Taz gets 2. Now there's Kirby. Fake plants the bomb. And everyone's staying alive on VP. Not like money matters too much going to the very last round. Well, of regulation at least. Could also be the last round of the map unless... What has Dignitas got into it? They obviously saved in that last one. Decent amount of utility here. Pimp's got his op back out. Might have to win 2 duels, though, because Pasha and Neo still staying on the double ops. And that's what's really cool about VP. Talk about, you know, their versatility when it comes to the roles. We've seen Snacks hopping this match. We've seen Pasha doing it. We've seen Neo doing it. I mean, that's got to be hard to play against.
Yeah, and all having impact as well, which is what you're alluding to. Now, Dignitas, Tensky, who's been very crucial on this map, very good at it, just in general, positioning himself very well, has made his way outside. Snacks eating a flash, but in a great position to do a full flank. Is going to push through a smoke and find a first frag, and doesn't look for a second one. Kirby actually cleans him up. And that's 2 kills, 3v3 right now. This could favor the T's if the bomb goes down safely.
Yeah, Taz did find a kill off of the damage that Snacks provided with that spray down. He's also been eliminated from the round.